Candidates, get ready for the dictation. I beg to lay on the table Hindi and English versions of the 7 reports on the participation of Indian parliamentary delegations at the 134th to 140th statutory assemblies of the Inter-Parliamentary Union. On behalf of Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, I beg to move for leave to introduce a bill further to amend the Supreme Court Number of Judges Act 1956. I beg to move that the following amendments made by Rajya Sabha in the bill to provide for a medical education system that improves access to quality and affordable medical education, ensures availability of adequate and high quality medical professionals in all parts of the country, that promotes equitable and universal healthcare, that encourages community health perspective and makes services of medical professionals accessible to all the citizens, that promotes national health goals, that encourages medical professionals to adopt latest medical research in their work and to contribute to research that has an objective, periodic, and transparent assessment of medical institutions and facilities, maintenance of a medical register for India, and enforces high ethical standards in all aspects of medical services, that is flexible to adapt to changing needs and has an effective grievance redressal mechanism, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto be taken into consideration. Honorable Speaker, sir, I am grateful to you for giving me the opportunity to speak on the very important subject, the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Bill 2019. I can say with conviction at my command that with the passage of this bill, we are going to remove centuries of stigma, negativity, and bias associated with a particular community in our society. I strongly feel that this is a historic piece of legislation which has the potential to change the lives of lakhs of transgender persons residing in our country. I must say that they are an integral part of our country and they are to be taken into consideration. If we look at the statistics, that are about 19 lakh transgenders in our country. Out of these 19 lakhs, around 4,000 stay in my state Odisha, where I come from. During my tenure as a civil servant, I have very closely interacted with this segment of the community. There have been lots of interactions with them. I have seen their struggle from very close quarters. Their non acceptance in the mainstream society is a gross violation of the fundamental right to equality and also their rights to life and personal liberty. I think with the passage of this bill, we will be ensuring that their fundamental rights and constitutional rights are restored. This is an extremely important bill, and we should unanimously resolve to pass this bill. Let me tell you, this particular bill is not new to the Lok Sabha. It had come to the Lok Sabha it was passed by Lok Sabha. It had also been sent to the Parliamentary Standing Committee. The Parliamentary Standing Committee gave a number of recommendations. I am very happy to inform the House and I convey my appreciation to Honorable Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment and his team for analyzing all the recommendations and incorporating as many recommendations as possible. So this is a very comprehensive scheme at this juncture. As I talk to you, I am reminded of the judgment of the Supreme Court which was passed in 2014. I call it a landmark judgment because that particular judgment terms transgender as third gender. I would like to read out the judgment of the Honorable Judge. In this particular case, the Honorable Judge has said recognition of transgender as a third gender is not a social or medical issue but a human rights issue. The spirit of the Constitution is to provide equal opportunity to every citizen to grow and attain their potential irrespective of caste, religion, or gender. To bring into effect this order of the Honorable Supreme Court, the bill has been introduced in the Lok Sabha and the bill is required to be passed. If we read the bill, there are a couple of salient features which I would definitely like to put forth before the House. I hereby compliment the Honorable Minister and the Ministry for scrapping the earlier proposal of identification or recognition of the transgenders through a district screening committee. The proposal was to form a district screening committee comprising the chief medical officer, a transgender from the community of transgenders, a psychologist. But fortunately, the ministry in fact has scrapped this particular proposal. At this juncture, it has been stated very clearly in the bill that now a person to be identified as a transgender will be going through self identification exercise and the district magistrate will issue a certificate to that effect. This is definitely a very progressive step taken by the ministry. We must commend the efforts of the ministry. The second thing which I would like to highlight is that in response to the opinion, the ministry has also deleted a provision thereby decriminalizing begging. As we know, many of our transgender friends are dependent on begging for their livelihood. Now it has also been taken up by the ministry and begging for this particular segment has been decriminalized so that they are given some time before they actually move to alternative occupations. This is the second thing which has been done very rightly. The third thing, which is very important, I would like to bring to the knowledge of the House is the proposal that the bill envisages to set up a national council headed by the Honorable Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. This particular council's role is very significant. They would be actually looking into the execution of policies and the legislation. They would overall monitor the welfare measures that are taken up for the welfare of the transgender persons. This particular council is also likely to address and tries to address the grievances of the transgender persons. Sir, the bill prohibits discrimination against the transgender persons in areas such as education, healthcare, and employment. It directs the center and the state governments to take up various welfare measures for the transgender persons and offences against the transgender persons, like forcing them to beg and denial of access to public place, and their mental, physical, and sexual abuse, etc., will be penalized, and the penalty is up to 2 years of imprisonment with fine. So, the passage of this bill, let me honestly tell you, will empower a very vulnerable segment of our society, and this is definitely a concrete step in the direction of our Honorable Prime Minister's clarion call to the nation of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or Sabka Vishwas. This bill will actually strengthen the Prime Minister's resolve. Sir, I must say a very proud thing about our government is that we are learning from others, and this calls for a lot of broad mindedness and large heartedness. We have been looking into the best practices of other countries, and we have been learning from them. It is not that this bill is new to India. In fact, there are countries which have tried to go for welfare measures of the transgenders, and they have gone for significant legislation. Let me name three countries in this August House. I would like to mention the names of the three countries: Australia, Germany, and Tasmania.